Hi, I'm Heidi, and this is my homestead. Let's go check it out. First up, we have the 2 tomato beds, and you can see these sun gold cherry tomatoes are just about ready to harvest. Oh yeah, they're ready. Let's taste it. Really sweet, good flavor, and they're a little bit warmed by the sun right now, which is perfect. So among my tomatoes, I plant marigolds, and then you just need to deadhead these as they grow so that the plant continues to get bushier and bushier. So we had the sun gold tomatoes, and then these are an Amish paste variety, which are coming along really well. These ones I'm going to use for making sauce and salsas. Paste tomatoes have less water content and less seeds, making them ideal for cooking down. These ones are getting there, they just need a few more days. And then these are still Amish paste tomatoes. As you can see, I need to tie up my tomatoes again. They're getting a little wild on me. But as we come around here, let's see. These are a homesteader tomato, which is another paste tomato variety. I've never tried growing them before, so I'm excited for those. I do need to also prune my tomatoes. And, okay, this is funny. These are snapdragons, and I had sown seed started, both snapdragons and lemon basil in my basement, and I put them in the same tray, and then I think that I thought these leaves were the basil, but they actually turned out to be beautiful flowers. The Thai basil is really taking off. All of the basils are doing really good. The thing about basils is you want to prune them early and often by just topping them. Just take the tops, and then once there is a little set of 2 leaves right here, you can see, those will grow into more fruiting branches. And so you're just increasing the amount of basil when you harvest all this basil. So that will continue to bush out and grow, and we'll have even more Thai basil. Same thing with this Genovese basil, which is a sweet basil. I shouldn't have let it flower like this, but that's okay. We'll just come and we'll take it now. And all of the ones that look like they're trying to flower, we'll just take those and bring them inside for pastas. All right, so I got a whole bucket of basil here. Moving right along, I missed over this one and I wanted to show you. These are a black strawberry tomato, and they have these little strawberry tops, and then, oop, that one's ready. A blushing end to it. Let's see, that one's not ready. That one's still kind of green. Gorgeous. They taste really good too. Black strawberry tomatoes. This is fun. This is a volunteer nasturtium. They have these beautiful jewel tone colors, and this was a plant that I planted nasturtium I think 2 years ago at this point, and this one just popped up all on its own, so it wanted to come out. And you can eat these. They're very peppery tasting. This is a new tomato variety for me too. It's called Better Boy, and these are for slicing, so for like sandwiches and whatnot. I envisioned BLTs, so those are coming along too, and I have a couple plants of those ones. And then in front of these I planted some beets, which they are developing rather slowly. Beets like a little bit cooler weather, and it has been so gosh darn hot, so I'm not totally sure how good the beet harvest will be this year, but I have a few of them planted in front of the tomatoes. And down this row we have Brandywine. Gorgeous, another slicing tomato. And this is also Brandywine. And then I tried new varieties of marigolds, and look how huge this is. I don't know what type this is. It's about to bloom, but it is just ginormous, and it's kind of taking over my tomatoes, which it was supposed to protect, quite honestly. But as you can see, the marigolds are really just taking off, putting on a show. I love these big puffy ball ones. Those are new to me this year. They're fun. In our third bed, we already harvested the garlic, which we have pulled and is now drying in our basement. Once it's dry, we will clip off all the green or, well, non-green ends that are dead, and then it goes right into the pantry, just like garlic that you buy from the store. We also have the pepper row, which is coming along really nicely. Peppers, you want to plant the plants really close together so that they can hold hands. They like to touch, and they like to have the support of each other as they're growing. Don't we all? These are a yellow variety, and then there are already some purple ones coming along. And let's see, I see some, oh, can I get it? Jalapenos. Oh, that leaf is right in the way. And we have some Sugar Rush peach peppers, which are new to us this year, but my sister-in-law grew them and pickled them, and they were so good. We put them on everything. So I'm growing some of those this year. And I like to work my peppers from sweet bell peppers, spicier, 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 and the spiciest are down here. Spiciest peppers we're doing this year are Scotch bonnet, so that we can attempt to make some Jamaican jerk food. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, next, this is a really exciting bed. We have our zucchini, which I've already harvested a few zucchini. I know they're in here. I think I need to turn on the sprinklers. We had all this rain. Oh, here's a zucchini. We had all this rain, and then all of a sudden we don't have any rain. And I also have volunteer tomatillos everywhere. They just popped up everywhere, and I'm just letting them go. We have eggplant. Here's another little eggplant coming along. Some eggplant parm in our future. And then we have parsley. Calendula, which volunteered. I didn't plant this, it just came back from last year. Here is some dill for making pickles. And then we have our cucumbers. Monster cucumber in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and harvest that. Oh, there's a bunch in there. I planted Muncher variety and Be It Alpha variety. At the end of this bed, we have the tomatillos that I actually planted, along with a volunteer tomato plant, which is currently in our onion bed. And this year, the onions did so much better. If you guys remember last year's onion harvest was a debacle, quite honestly. And these ones, look at how huge this is. These are gonna be great. Here's another big one. And these are a good example. Onions grow with their leaves going up very shallowly, and the number of leaves that they have is actually the number of layers of onion. And then once the necks crimp over like this, that signals to the plant to stop growing. And so these ones are done growing. I'm gonna leave them out here to dry a little bit since we are going to put them up in the basement. One thing I learned about onions from last year and did differently this year is that they do not like competition. Even a single blade of grass, the onions just can't compete. They'll just be like, oop, I'm dying, and the grass can take over. So this year I was really studious, if you will, in keeping this bed weeded and making sure that there was no competition for the onions, so I only grew onions. Okay, I wanted to take you through a magical little place called the bean trellis that is flanked by giant sunflowers on either side. They're huge, already taller than me. And then these are all beans. We have, oh, here we go. We have black beans, green beans for canning and fresh eating. We have lima beans. And then we have another trellis of the same. Lots of beans this year coming at ya. Another volunteer tomatillo for good measure, of course. Next we have the brassica bed, one of the brassica beds, where we have Napa cabbage growing. I've already harvested a few of them and made kimchi, which is already in the fridge. And then we have broccoli, which we've been harvesting here and there as it comes ready. And the second brassica bed, this is a new bed that we just installed this year, and it honestly didn't do too well. The weeds took over it. You can see I have really small cauliflower in there, and then a couple really small cabbages. Yep, here we go. Small cabbages. So I think this bed just needs to be built up, the soil quality. And every year when we, quote, put the garden to bed, we put more compost and then a lot of leaf mulch on top of each bed to build that soil quality and tuck it in for the winter. So I think in a few years this bed will really take off and look and produce a lot better. All right, so I have the netting over the brassica bed to keep out the cabbage moths, and ironically I see a cabbage moth underneath the fabric. So I mean, you can only do so much, right? And then on this bed we have corn that is for drying, which is absolutely ginormous. And then we have bush beans. I wanted to plant the bush beans in this new bed because their roots are nitrogen fixers, which means they take the oxygen from the atmosphere and they put it back down into the soil. They take the nitrogen from the atmosphere and put it back down into the soil where it belongs. And our first beans. Ooh, I gotta get out here and pick. These plants are just loaded with beans. I honestly wasn't prepared for this. Look at all these. Massive. All right, this next area might look a little crazy, but that's okay. I'm growing flowers for one of my friend's weddings, and so I have cosmos, which I need to deadhead badly, and sunflowers. This whole patch, I succession sowed sunflowers, which are all a variety meant to be cut and used in bouquets. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those. The wedding is in a few weeks, so we should be right on time with a good amount of the sunflowers. They are just starting to put on the little heads. And last but not least, I wanted to show you guys this area back here, which is where I have my pumpkins this year. Remember last year we grew a mystery squash pumpkin. It ended up being a pumpkin. And so this year I was really studious in labeling everything and giving them all the space that they needed to trail out. So you can see they start over here and then they start to grow their vine. And last year I had vines that were probably 20 to 30 feet long. So these are going to go and go and go. And we have jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. I do have some butternut squash in here because we like butternut squash. And then I also planted some fun like goblin gourds for decorations. So we'll see how those turn out. In this area, lovingly referred to as the wilderness, is the asparagus and the weeds, which slowly but surely we're trying to reclaim. You can see we have some weed barrier down. But this is how asparagus grows. Once you're done harvesting it, it grows straight up out of the ground like you see it at the store, and you just snap it off. And then once you're done harvesting, it grows into these beautiful fronds that produce these really pretty red berries in the fall. And it's absolutely massive. I'm like 5'8", and these are probably 6.5 feet tall, some of them. So pretty fun. All right, so here's our harvest. We have a whole basket of cucumbers, and here you can tell the difference between the muncher cucumber, which is made for pickling, versus the Via Alpha cucumber, which is for slicing and like salads. And then I also picked some beautiful dill. You can eat both the fronds and the flowers. So we're gonna make pickles with the flowers. I went ahead and harvested a Napa cabbage to make more kimchi. I have a whole basket of green beans. And then we have our herb basket with a couple of cherry tomatoes here. And it's so hot out here, the herbs are already wilting. So I'm gonna wrap this baby up. We will end the video as we always do with the chicken ladies. This one is taking a lovely little dust bath, which is how they keep clean. And I have a special treat for you. You come over here, you can see these 6 new baby chicks have landed on the farm. There's 3 of them with that little mama, and 3 of them over there with that mama. 3 Americanas and 3 Olive Eggers. We should be getting some fun colored eggs pretty soon here. Thanks everyone.